this?
Get information based on the Bible with different subjects. It talks about discipline, and we also offer free Bible studies.
Bible studies.
Anything you're interested in reading is free of charge.
Why would I want to read about the Bible?
Because it gives us a hope for a better future.
A better future? How does it do that?
Well, it helps us to see the time will come when sickness will be no more.
Sickness?
Death will be no more. Pain.
That's going to come with science.
War.
That's going to come with the advancement of science, right?
Well, as some things science has been able to accomplish, but people are still getting sick, aren't they?
But we're getting better.
Hospitals are still getting bigger.
Well, we're still fixing a lot of things, are we not?
Yes, sir.
And we're learning more, and we're saving people's lives, and we're fixing diseases and stuff like that, aren't we?
Right.
So what other way is there besides that?
Well, because we believe that God will bring about a cure for all of mankind's problems.
Why should I believe in a God?
Science. Well, when you look around, for example, something as simple as a tree.
Okay.
How do you see? Where do you see that originated? Big man.
No. Well, why should I believe in a God, though?
Because he's concerned about mankind.
No, but why should I believe that there is a God?
Because he wants us to.
How do you know that?
Because it tells us that in the Bible.
Because it says so in the Bible? Why do you believe what the Bible says?
The fact that we believe that he created mankind.
Okay, but why should I believe what the Bible says about that? If the Bible says that God exists, why should I believe the Bible?
Well, if you read the Bible, you see it gives you prophecies that have come true.
Prophecies? What do prophecies coming true have to do with the God existing?
The fact that he can foretell the future.
Who? How do you know the prophecies were written by God?
The Bible was written by 40 different men.
Okay, so it wasn't written by God?
We believe they were inspired by God.
How do you know they're inspired by God?
Well, you said the prophecies that have come true.
Even if I gave you prophecies coming true, how does that mean there's a God?
Well, can men foretell the future accurately?
I don't know. Maybe they can. But how do you know it? Well, my question should never be answered with a question.
Well, we believe God has foretold the future.
Okay. Well, why do you believe that God wrote the Bible? Just because the prophecies might have come true?
Because he's foretold things in the Bible that humans would not be.
No, but you still don't know that God did it. So why should it?
We believe it is inspired. Our faith.
Okay.
We have faith that the Bible.
Okay, so there's no reason
to
actually believe there's a God. Then is what you're saying.
Well, I think there is. When you look at
But there isn't.
Look at creation.
What creation?
Who created the earth?
What makes you think it was a who? Why would it have to be a who?
Where did the earth come from?
Well, you'd have to study cosmology and astrology, and you have to learn how star systems. You have astronomy and cosmology. You have to learn how star systems are formed. Then you can figure out how planets are formed. Why would ours?
How would you say it?
Well, you'd have to study. Like I said, you'd have to study cosmology and astronomy. Then you'd know how they were formed.
About humans. How the humans
Why would that question matter?
Well, I'm curious. You said
Okay, well, what makes you think?
How would you say humans came to exist? I believe God created.
Okay, why? What reason do you have for believing that? For saying that?
When you look at how humans are made, how your body works.
Okay, what does that have to do with a God existing?
Well, I believe that humans didn't make humans.
Okay, no one said they did. No one said humans made humans.
Well, I'm asking you. What do you think?
Well, I asked you what makes you think God made it, but then you go ask me a question.
I believe in God.
Okay, why?
And I believe that He created humans.
Why do you believe that? Do you have a good reason for believing that?
When I look around and see them believing these things. You know, humans.
So you know that's called the argument from ignorance. Well, no, actually that's pretty factual.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, when you say that.
How do you say man came about? What is your
I don't have to have an answer for that. All I have to.
What is your opinion?
It doesn't matter. All I have to know is that. Really, you're not here, are you? But you're out here trying to pander your Bible stuff.
We're encouraging people to read the Bible. That's their choice. It's interesting. Everybody can make choices, right?
Well, belief isn't really a conscious choice.
You decided to get up this morning, you could have stayed in bed. You decided to put on a red shirt, you could have put on a white shirt.
Okay, what does that have to do with it?
Choices, making choices.
Okay, what does that have to do with that
Choose
conversation?
to believe in God, choose not to.
You know,
Right.
a belief in a
Right.
God is not a
Right.
no, because belief is not a conscious choice. Belief is determined by how well you educate your brain, and it's not, you can't choose to believe in like unicorns. Like I can't right now decide to believe in Tinkerbell, right? Because
Why not?
well, how can you choose to believe in Tinkerbell right now?
If I want to.
Really, you can do that. Even though in your brain when you say that, you know it's not true.
I know there's no such thing as Tinkerbell.
You what?
There's no such thing as Tinkerbell.
Okay, so there you go. So then you cannot make yourself believe in Tinkerbell right now, right?
You say I have to believe in it. You exist. You think that thing exists.
So can you make yourself believe in Tinkerbell exists right now? No, you can't,
I'm not
right?
going to, no.
Well, you couldn't. You couldn't, right?
I don't know. Could I?
Probably not.
Like some people believe.
Probably not. It's
some
not a
people
conscious
believe in
decision.
Santa Claus.
Yeah.
You believe in Santa Claus?
You're getting way off topic.
Well, what's the topic?
The topic was when you said there's a God and you believe in a God, and I asked, I'm just an average person coming down the street here.
Yeah.
Why should I believe that there's a God? What good reason? What evidence is there to tell me that there's a God?
Because he's provided everything.
Okay, when I asked you if there's a God, you referred to actions that you feel that this God has done.
Yes.
But that doesn't show me that this God exists. Those are just claims that you've made that are
You can't
unsubstantiated.
see it. He's invisible.
Oh, isn't that convenient? Isn't that convenient?
Well, the air is invisible, but you feel it, don't you?
Oh, we can detect the air. Can we detect God?
When I look at creation.
Like what?
When I look at creation.
How do you know it's creation? Isn't it just
Well,
nature?
that's what I believe.
Are you talking about nature?
That's what I believe.
Are you talking about nature?
Well, some people call it nature.
Yeah.
Is that what you call it?
If you're gonna call it creation, then what's natural? Nothing?
I don't know what you mean. What's natural?
Well, if everything's created, then nothing's natural, right?
Well,
Do you know what I'm saying, do you?
I guess not.
No.
I guess not.
No. So there's really no good reason for me to believe in God, is what you're saying.
That's your choice.
It's not a choice.
That's your choice.
It's not a choice.
That's your choice.
It's my choice what?
That's your choice.
To
Believe in
conclude
God,
that you have no good
to
reason?
Believe in God or not believe in God.
But if you give me no reason to believe in a God,
Well, I've given you reasons, but you don't want to accept it.
oh, how about evidence? Do you have any evidence? How about that?
Something as simple as this.
A tree. You're touching a tree. What does that have to do with a God existing?
I believe God created it.
Okay, just because you believe God created a tree, that doesn't give me evidence for a God.
Well, okay, you don't have to accept that.
You what?
You don't have to accept what I'm saying.
Well, if no reasonable person should accept what you're saying.
I said you don't have to.
No reasonable person
You don't
should.
have to.
No reasonable
Okay,
person
all right.
will accept what you're
That's your
saying.
opinion.
Anyone who accepts what you're
That's your
saying,
opinion.
no, it's actually pretty factual. It's not an opinion. Do you know what an opinion is?
What do you say opinion is?
Is different from claims of fact. Okay, an opinion is like, I think the color blue is great, or color blue is the best color in the world. That's an opinion. When you say something like God is real, or I think God created something, that's a statement of fact. That's not an opinion. That's a statement of fact. You're allowed to have your own opinions,
That is fact.
right? But you have no evidence to show for it.
If you don't believe in God, then keep walking.
Really?
Yeah, just keep walking.
Really? Why not?
You're just annoying.
Annoying
Yeah.
to make you guys think?
No, we don't need to think.
You don't need to think.
We don't need
Okay.
to think. I do-
So you don't care about the truth.
No, we don't care about it.
You don't care about
No,
the
we don't
truth.
care about it.
You know what truth means?
You got a Bible?
Do I have a Bible?
Yeah.
How does that have to do with our conversation?
Because you just giving me your opinion. And you're just
What
another-
opinion? What opinion
you're
did I
just
give you?
another opinion. Because I've heard you talking to me.
Okay.
And you're just annoying.
I'm annoyed, really.
You're annoying.
Why?
You don't have no facts.
I don't have no facts.
See what facts you have. I have a Bible that'll tell you facts.
Okay.
And this is what you're doing right here.
Okay.
And no wonder for Satan himself keeps disguising himself as an angel of light.
Oh, I don't believe in any Satan.
Okay, exactly. So keep walking.
So why should I believe in
Because you're
Satan?
just disturbing. You're
I'm disturbing
causing
what?
Annoying.
Oh, you're not? But you're out here trying to convince people that what you're saying is
You
true.
came to us.
So? No, you're out here coming to everybody else.
This is
You're out
public.
here for everyone else to come to you.
And does it bother
You
you?
present yourself.
Does it bother
It
you?
bothers me that you're out here trying to convince people that there are things that exist that don't should. But you're out here pandering
What does
your
it
stuff
bother
to
me?
people who are probably not as.
We're not
Just
forcing
answer the question. Where does it bother
It's
you?
the fact that you're out here trying to push
We're trying to
irrational
stop-
beliefs.
You
That
know
is
that-
bad for mankind. It's bad for society. By telling people to believe in a God, that's actually bad.
There's over 8 million individuals like me.
Okay.
There's probably one of you trying to stop us.
One
You're
of
not going to
us.
stop us.
There's millions of us.
No, not really.
Yes.
Not really. We don't have people like you come
We're
up here
about
and
10
just...
to 20% of the
Normally
population in
the
this
people that come up here
country alone.
are people that don't have nothing better to do.
Nothing better. Shouldn't you have something better to do than try
We're
to convince
serving
people?
God.
What?
We're serving the Almighty God. The one
Where
that
is this
created
God?
us.
Where is the God?
Maybe not. He may be not living in it, and you may not believe in him yourself.
Right.
That's good.
Okay.
So then go with your opinion and leave us with our opinion. We believe.
They're
in
not
God.
opinions.
We believe in
You're
God.
making statements of fact. They're
And
not
we have
opinions.
facts.
No,
If you have a Bible,
I
I'll show
asked you
facts.
facts, but I asked her facts. You couldn't give me any. She pointed
You
to a
have
tree.
nothing that you accept.
Yeah, there's nothing. If you don't,
No,
if you don't believe in the Bible,
You're not giving me evidence. Of course not, because it's not evidence.
Okay, well,
if I ask for evidence and you don't give
believe in the
evidence,
Bible, if you don't believe in the Bible, then
I don't
we
believe
can't
that
talk to
the
you.
assertions in the Bible are accurate.
So we
No.
can't talk to you.
So you have to already believe that the Bible is
Yes,
accurate.
yes, that's
You have
the
to
only way
actually
that we'll talk.
You have nothing to offer the reasonable person.
No, we
is
don't
that what
need
you're
to.
saying?
The Bible is all we go by. So if you don't
what?
believe in
The Bible what?
is all we have. Okay, you have an opinion. That person has an opinion, and that person
They're
has
not
an opinion.
opinions. These are not opinions.
Okay, they are. They are.
No, they're not.
Let me finish
You
my
don't know what
statement.
opinion
Let me
is.
finish my statement.
Go ahead.
Okay, everybody has their own world in their mind.
Their own interpretation of reality.
Exactly.
How about that?
Everybody. Okay?
Interpretation of reality.
Exactly.
All right.
So do you imagine how messed up this world is if they go on, one person believes and has an interpretation, another has an interpretation, another has an interpretation,
Right.
but if you all go into one basis and have one solid foundation, the world will be so much better.
It's called having the most accurate interpretation of reality. That's what's necessary. And you do that through the use of critical thinking.
I gave you, no, that's
It's through
that's
logic
thinking.
and reason and critical thinking. That's how we attain the most accurate interpretation of reality. You don't get it by someone telling you there's a God and just to believe in
We had
it,
enough,
correct?
we had enough.
Isn't that correct?
My name is Oscar.
Oh, okay. Hi, Oscar.
That's it. Can you kind of not annoy us right here anymore?
But you said that the best way is to have one worldview, right?
Yeah, Bible.
Why should it be the Bible? Unless you can show us the Bible, right? You have to have evidence of the Bible. Do you understand what evidence is and how it's required?
Do you understand how many people like people deal with?
But you can't even answer the
But do you know
question.
that?
Really? But you
And we
still
can
can't answer
train
the
how to deal
questions.
with people like
But you still can't answer the questions then.
you know what
You've
we
had
do?
all
We
this
walk away.
experience.
We leave them alone.
You've had all this experience to answer the
That's the
questions. You can't answer the
That's
questions.
the experience. It's kind of like, because you're just annoying, picking, and don't have nothing better
Trying
to
to
do.
get to the
That's
truth
right.
is
That's
just
not even-
annoying.
the
That's
truth, you
sad.
don't have the truth.
That's sad. Do you know
What's
what
the
truth
truth?
means? Do you know what the
Why
truth words?
why did you even stop?
Why
annoy
even
us.
stop? Why are you out here? You know what? I think around here for kind of the same
We're
reasons.
not here to hop.
I think around here for kind of the same
I'm not trying
reasons.
to present
I think
anything.
no. You want to present what you think is the truth,
Yes.
and I want to present
Like
what I
anything.
think is the truth. So,
well,
but
your
here,
truth is
here,
your truth.
here's
Your truth.
no. There's no your truth.
Is
Okay.
it his truth?
There's no your
Is it
truth.
his truth?
Truth is not relative. Truth is not relative.
Your opinion.
The problem here, no.
Your
The problem here
interpretation.
is we
Your
have
interpretation.
different interpretations of reality. Okay, that's the
So it
problem.
looks like we're not going to agree, right? So maybe you can.
You
move
have your
on. Maybe you can move
interpretation
on.
of reality.
We're not
You
agreeing.
believe God is real. I have my interpretation of reality. I have no reason to think God is real.
Oh, okay.
So how do we determine the
That's
truth?
That's okay.
How do we
Well,
determine
we're
the
trying
truth?
to get
That's
to,
okay.
sir.
We determine the truth by having evidence. Do you understand what evidence is? Evidence. When you make a claim like a God exists, you're making a scientific claim. You need scientific evidence. Testable evidence you need to show that something is true.
We do
If I
have
ask
it.
you if there's a
It's
God,
written in the Bible.
you
The facts are written in the
don't
Bible, but
point
you
to a
don't believe.
tree and say that's not
Okay,
scientific
maybe
evidence.
it was a wrong explanation, but it's
Oh,
all-
it definitely was a wrong explanation.
Okay, maybe.
But she gave more than that as a wrong explanation.
Good for you. You get a
Good for
you get
me.
a thrill out of it, huh?
What's that?
You get a thrill out of it, huh?
I
You
just
like
want
to-
I just want
you
good
know,
answers.
I've dealt with hundreds of thousands of people, and you're the
Hundreds of
kind
thousands, okay.
you're trying to demeanor people because
Demean?
you think you're very
You mean
intelligent.
demean, right?
Put down.
Okay. That's demean.
Because you,
Not demeanor, demean.
okay, demean, Mr. Intelligent.
Well,
so you think
actually
you're,
it's called smart, not intelligent. There's
Oh.
a difference between the two.
okay, you're Mr. Smart. Mr. Smart. You feel you're very smart.
Sure.
I deal with a lot of people like you.
Okay. And why wouldn't you
Good.
learn from us?
I don't want to be like you.
You don't want to know that
I don't wanna
you don't
be,
want to have an
yeah.
accurate interpretation of
No,
reality?
no.
Okay.
I don't. I'm
You
happy
don't.
where I'm at.
You're happy
So
with
can
delusion.
you kind of leave us alone now?
Oh.
Is that cool?
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it?
Yeah, I don't want to
You
fight.
don't
I
care
wanna
about
fight.
thinking
No,
or anything.
You want to fight. You want to fight. You think you're
Fight?
smart enough to fight mentally.
I'm not here
That's
to
what
fight.
you want. That's what you want. And we're trained not to feed in. And I'm feeding in.
Oh,
so I'm going to walk away.
You're trained not to have intellectual discourse because thinking is bad and questioning is bad.
We're taught to find those with the
Do you ever wonder why you're taught
the
that?
right heart condition.
Do you want to know why you're taught that? You want to know why you're taught
not
that?
have the right heart condition.
You are taught that
Did you hear what I
because
said?
they don't want you
do
to
not have
question.
the right heart condition. So we
The
don't
heart
talk to
condition.
people that don't have the right heart condition. Okay?
And you're trained for that
You
for
have
a
it like
reason.
this. You have it like this.
I am what like
And
what?
you're being rude, and you're being mean, and you're being hostile.
It's called being aggressive.
Doesn't matter. Well, I used to be
Don't-
like you.
Oh, you used to be
So
like
I
me? I
understand how
doubt
you
that.
are.
Because if you were like me, you'd know more about how the world works.
Oh yeah, you do, huh?
Well, I do. I don't believe in any gods,
What do
right?
you do for a living?
I do quite a few things.
What do you do?
Quite a few things.
What do you do?
A lot.
Yeah, what? Aren't you proud of what you do?
What's that?
Aren't you proud of what you do? What do
Very
you do?
happy with what I do,
What
yes.
do you do?
I'm not your business.
None of my business.
Not your business.
You're probably ashamed of it, huh?
Why would you even go there?
Why wouldn't you even say it?
What's that?
Why don't you want to tell me?
What does it matter whether I tell you or not?
Okay, so exactly, I proved the point.
You didn't prove any point at all.
Yes, I
You
did.
just-
Yes,
you,
I did.
You asked a question,
Yes,
I didn't
did.
answer
Okay,
it,
you think you're
and
smart.
now you're trying to
You
draw
think you're
conclusions
smart.
based on me not
You
answering
think
it.
you're smart.
I think I'm smart, so I'm not smart.
You are smart. You are smart.
Okay, so then it's okay that for me to think I'm smart because I am.
You're smart.
Is that what you're saying?
You give me a headache, you know that? It's like a waste of time.
Don't you want to know why they tell you not to engage with people like me? Don't you care about that? Don't you care? They don't want you to do that because they don't want you to think and question. They don't want you to know that what you're doing might be wrong. It might be bad to believe in God. It might not be true. What you believe in.
So what's going to happen because I'm doing this? What's the worst thing that can happen to
Well,
me?
let's see. You're feeding delusion. You're
So what happens?
preying on people's ignorance and gullibility.
And what am I trying to get from them? Why am I taking advantage
Well, I don't
of
know.
them?
You might have other.
Share with me, 'cause you're
goals.
smart.
You'd have to tell me, but I can just tell
But
you.
you don't know.
I can tell you what
So
you're
then
doing
what
wrong.
you're trying to stop something that you don't even know.
I don't. What? That just made no sense at all.
You're
do you
trying
hear
to
yourself
stop me
from spreading delusion?
spreading delusions
Right.
because
Because
you
it's
don't
bad
know
for people
why.
to believe in a lie. No,
Because you
it's
don't
bad
know
for
why.
people to believe in things that are false.
You just don't believe in God, and I feel bad for you.
Do you feel bad for me because I don't have an imaginary friend as an adult? Really?
No, because you don't believe in the Creator.
Why should I believe it's a creator?
Who created your eyes, your beautiful eyes?
My parents had sex and gave birth to me.
And who gave it to them?
Their parents had sex and gave birth to
Okay,
them.
there had to be a beginning. They didn't
Yes,
just
their
appear.
parents before them had sex.
Yeah, but it had to be a beginning, correct?
What is your point?
That is exactly my point. There had to
I
be
don't
a
think you
beginning.
made a point. I'm still waiting
Okay,
for a point.
I'm telling you, but you don't
Okay,
want
just
to
because we
acknowledge
don't
it.
know the point doesn't mean that God did it. That's
Okay,
called
so then
arguing from
who-
ignorance. Do
okay,
you know
so-
what I mean?
okay, now tell
You
me.
should Google arguing
So
from
tell me,
ignorance.
who then created your beautiful eyes the way they are?
I kind of just told you my parents had sex.
Did it-
And I
okay,
got their genes.
I
Do you know what genes are? Do you guys know what genes are?
Yes.
Do you know how
So
biology
from the
works at all?
beginning- So in the beginning, before somebody created the man,
Before
how
what?
did they get created? Do you ever think back to that? Because you should want to know where you came from.
Do you have the answer to that?
Yes, I do.
How do you have that
I've been
answer?
trying to tell you.
What's your evidence of
but
that?
You don't listen
What's
to
your
me.
evidence? Then I can go ahead and say unicorns created it. Could I not?
Okay, I'll give you another one.
Can I say unicorns exist?
I'll give you another one.
All
because
right,
you
give me
couldn't answer
another
that
failed
one. Okay.
argument. Go ahead.
Okay.
Another failed argument coming on the way.
Orbit
The orbit.
and the distance between the sun and the moon, and the
Okay.
perfect alignment, and
sun and the
everything,
moon.
and everything that does and turns.
Perfect alignment?
Okay, who put them there to align
What
them?
makes you think it's a perfect alignment?
We are not burning up. We're not burning. If
Okay.
one more inch.
No,
of
that's not true.
difference, okay,
No, that is not true.
Okay,
That
but
is
who
not
put
true.
who put them in order?
What makes you think it was a who? Why are you begging the question? You know what begging the question
Okay,
means? It
I'm
means you're
asking-
assuming the answer
So
before
then
before
who
someone answers
put
it.
them in order?
You should never ask who.
Was it
You should
my
never
parents
ask,
or your parents?
You should never ask who. Why would
what?
you think the
The
who?
what?
Oh, the process.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
should study cosmology or astronomy. Both of them, I suggest. And then you'll learn how star systems get formed.
Okay.
Star explosions and
So
matter,
the perfect alignment
gravity.
right now is because of something
It's
out
not,
there.
I don't know why you keep calling it perfect alignment.
We have a perfect alignment.
What makes you think it's perfect? We're at a different distance all throughout the year between us and our star.
It's always the same.
No, it's not the same. It varies all throughout the year.
Yes, throughout the year, but it's always the same so that we don't burn.
No, it's not always the same. I don't know what always the same means. The Goldilocks zone goes from before our plan to after Mars. So we have a lot of room to existence. It's not always the same. It varies. But you wouldn't know that because all you do is read your creationist websites. You don't actually know the science behind it.
I actually went to school too.
Well, then how come you're so confused on how our star system works? Because you don't know the facts. You keep saying all the same and 1 degree off, and this is all fallacious arguments.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Everything is
and you can't even expend more on it. You can't even talk more about it because you only know the talking points.
No, you know what? Because what you're trying to do is just win an argument.
Show you that you don't know what you're talking about. Which is fairly easy to do.
And it makes you feel good.
Well,
you like to.
I like to question lies.
No, you like to. In your own little world.
Whether I like to or not is irrelevant. The fact remains that you can't answer the questions and you don't know what you're talking about.
You think you're smarter than a lot of people.
I think I'm smarter than you in this area of
life. You like to put them down, you see?
I know I'm smarter than you in this area of life. You have a lot of pride. And what's wrong with pride?
And you're ashamed of where you work. And you're here hostile.
Because I didn't tell you where I work, then I'm ashamed. See, where do you get off trying to use armchair psychology with people you don't know?
Where are you getting it to? You're using it the same thing.
No, give me some context on that.
You give me some.
See, you don't even know what you're talking about. You're confused. You're trying to turn the table. I try to call you on it, and then you try to turn the table again. You don't know what you're doing. No, you're not.
But it's irrelevant. You know what? At the end of the day, you don't need to believe what we believe.
Of course not.
And I don't need to believe what you believe.
Which is
so
reality.
Which is reality.
Are
we happy there?
I live in reality.
Okay, are we happy there?
I don't have imaginary friends as an adult.
Are we happy there?
You have an imaginary friend
but
that
are we
you can't
happy
show
there?
exists.
Are we happy there?
What does that mean? Are we happy where?
That's it. You got what you want. I got what I want, and that's it. Move on.
That's really sad that you live your life like that.
It is sad.
Did he really have to come to your defense?
Yes. Yes, I have to.
Okay, that's good.
So why don't you just have a good day?
Yeah. Oh, I am having a great day.
Not arguing with me, you are.
I'm not? How do you know I'm not having a great day?
To me, that makes you happy to argue with people.
So you don't think you can learn from arguing or debating? You don't think you can learn from that?
Yeah.
Okay, so then...
You think you can learn?
So I always learn all the time. Always learn all the time. I am never afraid to say I'm wrong about something. But you have to show me I'm wrong about something. You just can't tell me I'm wrong about something.
Well, I'm not here to show you you're wrong about something.
Obviously not, because you can't really answer the questions. That's why.
But you need to just be respectful and just...
I need to be respectful? You're out here peddling your gods and shit that's not true, and I need to be respectful?
Yeah, you need to be respectful.
Really?
And if you don't want to, if you're not interested...
and just let you go unchecked and just keep brainwashing people?
Are you the executioner?
No.
Well, why don't you go up and down the
No, I'm a little more humane than that.
Why don't you go up and down talking to everybody you see come by?
What's that?
Why don't you stop and talk to everybody that you see come by?
Oh, they're not out here trying to peddle their garbage about shit that's not true.
We're so wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to try to convince people that you're right.
That's what I'm doing.
Not me.
Not you?
Not us.
Oh, well. There's plenty of people listening.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all about educating, critical thinking, logic. You guys should really look into it. I know quite a few. I know quite a few people who are ex-JWs, and they really feel like their life was wasted while they are in the cult.
That's sad. That's sad.
It is sad that they had to waste their life like that.
Prostitutes that hate that they were prostitutes. There are people that used to be drug addicts.
Yes.
They were drug
and there are people that were JWs. They're glad they're not JWs anymore.
Yeah. There's smart people that think that they were so smart. You know what I mean?
Well, there's people that really care about having the truth. You know what truth means?
At the end of the day, you didn't accomplish nothing.
Truth is a degree to which a statement corresponds with reality.
But did you know that?
And referring to trees is not going to give you truth.
You didn't accomplish anything.
I'm looking at the tree as evidence.
And it's not evidence. It's not evidence of any creator. It's not. Of course not. No reasonable person will.
That's where he gets his.
No reasonable person will believe in that.
That's where he gets
no reasonable person will.
And his drive from
right.
Getting into people's skin.
No.
He's probably been like that all his life.
No. It's not conscious.
Did they ever tell you that before?
It's if you choose to actually have an accurate interpretation of reality, then that's the most logical position to have. which
I
is
choose to
an
believe-
ignorant, gullible thing to do.
That's your opinion.
No, that's actually
You just said it.
those are descriptive words.
But you just said it. It's your
I just said
opinion.
it.
It's coming
No,
from your mouth.
It's
your
not an opinion.
It's
Just
your
because someone says
It's
something,
your
words come out of
opinion.
their mouth doesn't mean it's an opinion.
Then what is it? It's a fact?
Claims of fact.
Okay, show me.
Show you what?
That it's a fact.
You lack evidence for your God.
Show me the fact, what you just said right now. You just twisted it like I did.
Not at all.
Yes, you did.
You just weren't following, apparently.
No, show me the fact that what you just said is not an opinion.
Okay. When you say something and you make claims of fact,
Okay.
those are not opinions.
Stick to the subject.
When you believe in something without evidence,
Show me
that's ignorant
the fact
and
that
gullible.
what you said is not an
Do you know what
opinion.
ignorant and gullible
Did you hear
mean?
what I said? Do you read the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Did I read the words coming out of your
Yes.
mouth?
Or do you understand
There
them?
you go.
Can you hear them?
There you go.
Prove to me that what you just said right now
Which
is
part
not
would
an
you like me to
opinion.
prove? Which part would you like me to prove?
Prove to me that what you just said,
Which was what?
is not an opinion.
Which was what?
That there is no true God.
I didn't say that.
And what you said about her, right?
Did I say that? Oh, that she was ignorant and gullible? Okay, ignorance is not knowing something specific. Gullible is believing something without evidence.
You don't know that
When-
there's a God, so does that make you ignorant?
I don't know that there's a God. Well, you'd have to have evidence to show. You'd have to have evidence to show that there is a God.
I believe there is a God. You
Right.
say there isn't.
No, I say there's no reason to believe in one.
Well, then you have
Difference.
No reason.
There's a difference.
Okay.
Difference.
Well, if you have no reason, you have no reason.
Right.
But you-
But you have no reason to show there is a God,
You didn't answer
so that
the
makes you
question.
the ignorant and gullible one.
Okay.
But you didn't answer the question. Show me the facts.
The facts of what? The facts of what?
Solid.
Of what, exactly?
Because you said, this is not an opinion. 3 times you told me,
Okay.
this is not an opinion. Okay, prove to me that then what you're saying about her.
That she's ignorant and
is
gullible
a
for believing
fact.
in God?
That is a fact, yeah.
Okay,
Show me.
that's not an opinion. That's
Show
a
me the
factual
facts.
claim because they're descriptive words.
From a
I just
slaver.
told you what ignorance and gullibility mean and how they apply. Because she lacks evidence to believe in a God, that makes her ignorant
Well, you
and gullible.
don't accept the evidence.
No, you didn't give me any evidence at all.
Well, creation.
You referred to a tree.
What is created?
But you're assuming the answer with your question.
It's
With
biblical,
my-
it's biblical, but you don't believe in the Bible. So we're
Why
wasting
should
our
I believe
time.
in the Bible?
Then we're wasting our time.
See, because you guys just can't brainwash any reasonable person that comes
You don't
along.
have to believe in the Bible.
He's a
Of course I don't.
God's
And no
not
one's
gonna make-
going
nobody's
to.
gonna make you.
You guys just don't know how to think properly. This is very sad. You're
what
trying to
you're doing.
volley your ignorance back and forth. It's just
your opinion.
Do
disgusting.
you have any ignorance?
It's your opinion.
I'm sure I'm ignorant about a lot of things. But this,
really?
I know more than you do.
Really?
I know more than you do in this
Maybe
thing.
you're
Because
ignorant.
I know evidence is required for what you say
Maybe
exists.
you're ignorant
So
about
you're
the
into
existence of-
technology with children
You'd have to
hospital?
have evidence to show.
Hey, are you in technology with children hospital?
You have to.
But it's up to you to accept the evidence or
We keep
reject
focusing
But
it.
you
on
didn't
her.
give
You can't deal with
evidence.
me,
You
huh?
rejected
But you didn't give
You
evidence.
rejected it. So
It's sad that you think a tree is evidence for a God. The fact that you think that's evidence for a God.
look at your body. You
What
created
about
you.
my body? You're not making any sense at all. What does my body have to do with a God's evidence of a God?
Somebody created you.
No, what makes you think somebody created humans?
Well, how did you-
Why are you assuming that the answer is a who?
How do you
Are you even listening to me?
How do you believe humans came to exist?
What does it matter how I believe humans
want
came to
answer-
be?
you want
I don't have to. You're the one with the answers, not me. You need to show me that a God created it. Don't ask me questions. You answer the questions. You answer the question. If you say you have the answer, you give the answer. You can't go asking questions when you are required to give an answer.
We got it.
But you don't know how. You don't know this because you don't understand that you have the burden of
We
proof.
got it.
Are you sure? 'Cause I don't think you do.
Harassing
I don't
this
think you
woman.
understand.
Stop
Do you
harassing
understand
her.
that you have the burden of proof?
Stop harassing.
Do you understand that?
Please, just stop.
Do you know that you have the burden of
Wow,
proof?
you know how
You don't know that. It's sad.
Look,
How what?
you know how silly you look?
Do I look silly? Or do you look silly here
We're not yelling and
with
screaming like
these
you. Putting people
watchtower, belief in God, stuff that doesn't exist? These are imaginary friends.
here.
These are imaginary
Talking down
places,
at people.
imaginary friends, and you're out here peddling it to the people.
Yes,
And
we
you're
are.
telling me that I'm wrong by
silly.
questioning
Yeah,
your
you look
crap
silly.
that you have here?
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
Your
You're
behavior-
ridiculous. You're a grown
your
man
behavior
in a suit
is a very
with
immature,
imaginary friends,
very
and you think that
immature.
I'm wrong in what I'm saying.
behavior is very
you
immature.
should be ashamed of yourself.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
You have never learned anything in
You
school.
got nothing better to do.
Well,
Go get a life or something.
I would
and
think
go
my
to work.
questioning you is more productive than you trying to brainwash people.
Good for you.
All right.
You got a big happy face.
I am very happy. Went off a little bit about that guy right there. Sorry about that. Probably wasn't attractive to some of you, but sometimes you got to. It's Ted the Atheist. Have a good day.